Welcome to daily recap of September 7th, 2020. I'll be going over your GJGC and GA. All of them analysis played out perfectly as we planned. So for GJ, I said watch for reaction at this trend line, possible higher low formation or break. So we would pull back down to this level, 140, right? And then when we saw yesterday was, if you look on hourly, you see how prior to pre-London, this little area here, this 1 hour candle broke it, okay? This 1 hour candle broke it. The next one, 1 a.m. when the new 4 hour candle opened for pre-London, we saw a small retest, lower time frame created a lower high, and then we continued down straight to 140. We did react to the trend line initially, but you see the break of it. But so let's see how lower time frames performed and how could I have gone an entry. I actually took the trade, got out at 30 pips. And so I entered right here. I entered at this lower high because lower time frame was just going down. I knew that we were going to move down to this next level, right? So perfect. If you got an entry here, lower high. See, my risk was barely anything. My risk was literally 5 pips. It's actually a bit more, like 6-7 pips, but I'll show you how that looked in 1 minute. If you know what you're looking for, it's very easy to find positions. So you see how 1 minute is doing this, right? Trending down, right? So when I saw this lower high forming, I entered here, and then we got another confirmation of a lower high, lower low, another lower high, push down, lower high, push down, create a new low, right? Do you see these? So very easy. And then eventually we made it down to 140 exactly. This low would have been your target, and we made it down at like 4:45, so almost an hour 45 minutes after London opened. We made it down super clean because it came back up. And where did it come back up to? So I'm just going to remove this. Look where it came back up to. When it retraced, it came back up to this FTR level, right? This small discretion in price up here. And that was also lined up with 140.500, which is a psychological level, right? So let's say you were looking for a trade and you didn't get in here. So let's see how 1 minute acted. 1 minute, when it pulled back, you can even draw a minor trend line. Pulled back and it started closing below 140.500, this FT area. You were like, okay, that's just a lower high being formed, and then we're going to continue back down. So you see this minor trend line. Once it broke, you got a small retest of it in 1 minute, continue down, another higher, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then lower low at 140. Very clean. Like I said, you just got to know what to look for in market structure and in lower time frames and work together. So that was actually a perfect trade. That was around 4.5% for me. First trade of the week, so we took it a bit lighter. But let's see what can happen next. So in the analysis, I said watch for reaction as trend line, possible higher low or formation or break, right? And then safe sells if TL breaks plus 140 retest, sells on a lower higher retest, and then this would be our low target around 138 or 137.8, right? So right now you see that I drew this, see this massive wick. I consider that a level, okay? So I would need price to actively show me that, okay, this seems like a lower high, but let's say if price starts closing back above, right? Back above retest, creates a higher low, then we can continue up. Then this break would be invalid, okay? But let's say price does something like this, moves down throughout the day, and then pre-London, we come back up, find resistance, create a lower high, and then we continue down. This would be safe sells, okay? And your first targets could be like 139. There's some market structure here at 139, right? You see this? Lines up perfectly 139. Next one could be 138.2-ish. And then eventually we would make our way down to 137.8, okay? 137.8 or even 138, that would be our next target. if selling pressure continues. So just watch for lower high formation, liquidity grabs happening at London Open. So you might see something like, let me just move this a bit. Let me go hourly. Like I said, you might see something like a new low created and then a lower high, or even possible retest back of this high at 140 and then continue down. That would be amazing, but be ready to adapt, because if this doesn't happen and instead price comes back above trend line retest, then we can continue for buys, right? Because then higher time frame would just be creating a higher low. But we just really got to watch and see how this daily candle closes, because if this closes above, then most likely this was just a retest of this market structure here, right? And then we're actually just setting up for buys. But if it does break, then we have a strong possibility of continuing down, right? Okay, so that's what you need to watch for GJ. GBP CAD, another classic analysis played out. So this could have been a liquidity grab. Watch for previous broken market structure, so watch for a retest and then possible lower high formation at this level. Otherwise, if this level broke here, 1.7315-ish, then we would continue down to the low target if bearish intraday structure continues, right? This was a low target at daily. Let's see how that played out. Wow, played out exactly. All right, I'm just gonna remove this. Played out exactly. Instead of going up here first, retesting this broken market structure, price did break it, and then we got a small retest and straight continued down to this level. In fact, we did break this level, and then this is the next level over here that I have. But let's go to lower time frames and see how that played out. So prior to this was at market open. This was our previous lower high, right? This was the lower high before that. Okay, so 2 a.m., 2:30, right before London Open. London Open pushed up. Then we created another lower high, okay? We created this lower high, and you could have entered here, but I personally like entering when price is near these key levels that I've drawn out. As soon as price, and I'm just going to remove these. As soon as price came back below this key level, you could have sold, because you know that's a lower high that was just formed. You're selling, you're let's say sold here, right? You know it's a lower high formed, and we're in bearish intraday structure, so price is gonna continue down to the next level, right? And that's exactly what happened. Your stop loss could have been above these candles, because if it went up, it would have been invalid. So 65 pips down to our level that we had drawn out here, right? Came down here. So this was essentially the lower high in 4 hour, then this was the next lower high, and now we just created a new low, right? We're below this level, right? So even daily looks like it's going to continue down. And then 1 second, yeah, around that. So what to watch for next? This was actually a perfect setup. Let's look at 1 minute and see how 1 minute played out. Yeah, you see. So if you know what you're looking for, you would know that this was just a liquidity grab, and although it went above this level, doesn't mean that we're all of a sudden going to start pushing up. So found resistance, created a lower high, and lower time frames, another lower high. So you knew once this broke, could have entered sells. Got another lower high after forming a low, new low, another lower high, and then continue down to the level by 6:30. So pre-New York, an hour and a half before New York Open, we reached there. What could you look for next now? Well, daily, just higher time frame just made a new low. So this would be my next area that I'll be watching out for, price reaching here. But what would we have to do before we get there? Price would eventually have to make another lower high, right? That's what it seems like it's doing. It retest this level perfectly. Look at this. It is literally perfect retest of this level, like right to the pip. And I've had this level since analysis. 72488. 72488. Literally perfect retest and continue down. So if pricing remain below this level, then 100% we can continue down to our next level, which is right here. So continue down to this level. This would be the next level. And then if this level was to break, right, we would get something like market structure retest higher time frame, and then continue down. You see this right here, price activity here, lots of price activity here, just watching, and then this would be the next daily level that would be aiming for. Okay, so just watching price as it comes, because it could even do something like let me just move this, could even do something like this. Price comes down here, and she comes back up to retest this, and then we go down, right? So print more lower highs and lower lows, and then continue down. So that's GBP CAD analysis played out perfectly. 60 pips here, 50 plus on GJ. And then AUD played out even better than both the analysis. So let's check this out, AUD analysis. So I said we were closing above this daily range, and I said buys if price rejects this key level again, okay? Otherwise, save sells on the break or retest of this level only if price is creating bearish intraday structure, all right? Let's check that out. Would you look at this? Price came down here, did not reject it, initially broke, lower time frame broke this level, right? And then if you look at hourly, yeah, price closing below, oops, that's where I had it, yeah. Price closing below this level, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., we got a liquidity grab because it doesn't make sense for price to just keep continuing down, right? We still have a long way to go to the next range. So what's better? Price market pulls up, does a liquidity grab, generates more order flow. Same thing that happened in GBP CAD. When price started closing back below this level, that's when you could have been like, yeah, you see 15-minute close below after creating this lower high. This was your lower high. This was the lower high before that. This was the lower high before that, and then the ones before that, right? So you see the bearish intraday structure is continuing. And usually when you see a candle like this, the next one is going to be a bearish candle. So as soon as we close below, you see this small wick on 15-minute retest of this level. We close below it, lower high confirmed after these two candles, lower high confirmed. Now all we got to do is make a new lower low. Like I said, let me show you. This was the first target, right? Because that was the previous low. So when you target the previous low, that itself is 50 pips, right? Your stop loss could be just, could even do 20 pip stop loss or have it above this level. So 50 pips, but that wasn't our main target. Our main target was 1.80480. So 1.805 basically, right? And did we tap 5? Yeah, 5-ish. So that was due to this structure right here. See this daily candles closing below it right here as well, even here. So once it did that, see daily eventually created a lower high. And now what we need to wait for is, okay, hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna remove that. You go into 1 hour, 30-minute, 1 second. So this would have been, could have left a runner, gotten another 100 pips, right? So that happened. I'm gonna remove this. Next we need to be watching out for is something like this to happen. Just like lower time frame, this is our next major weekly level, right? Right, this is our weekly level. So we need to, maybe we'll get a lower high. Oops, fucking hell. Maybe we'll get a lower high somewhere like this, right? Lower high, and then sell on break of this level. But essentially I'll be waiting for this level to break, and when it does break, we'll create a new low right at 1.97950, okay? Which is, if we're counting this, that's 90 pips, right? 100 pips, and then this range was also 100 pips. So very clean. Intraday lower high was formed right here, and then we created a new low, right? Broke the previous low, created a new low. Now next thing, same thing, lower high, and then we create a new low at this level. So that's what we'll be watching for. All analysis played out perfectly. This break retest continued down. We saw the break retest. This analysis, once this level broke, continued down low, target if bearish intraday structure continues, happened, right? GJ analysis, price pulling down the trend line, possible higher low formation or break. We did pull down. We saw a current break. Now we're just going to have to see how price reacts to this order block here, and if we do create a lower high, then continue down, right? Retest trend line. But yeah, super easy. Everything played out nicely. Yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for watching. I only caught GJ. That's all I was looking for, but next time I'll be more active throughout the other pairs. Thanks.